So here's the deal. Some customers aren't going to pay you. Yep. You're going to go out there, work your butt off, and guess what? They're going to act like you are the last thought when it comes to them paying your bill. Yep. That's just the way our, you know, life is. You want to go out there and trust people. You want to go out there and just expect people to be fair. You went out there, you mow their lawn, you put out the mulch, you trim the shrubs or whatever you did, and you send them an invoice and you expect payment. But guess what? Everybody ain't gonna pay you. Nope. Been there, done that. And then the funny thing is that it doesn't matter how big of a company you have. People are going to try to flim flam and get over. You know, that's just the way things are. But luckily, um, there are ways that you can work at preventing this. Because the reality is, it doesn't matter what you do. All systems aren't 100%, you know, untappable. Okay, so I would say is to always use a written agreement. Guys, let me tell you, this just handshake or, you just show up and, you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You got to have some sort of proof. And it works. It works because in the written agreement, all you have to do is summarize what you're going to provide and how much they're going to pay. And when you write your written agreements, guys, be specific. You have to be specific because what happens is that customers' expectations are different, depending on the individual. So, if let's say, for instance, right, just an example, you go out there and you're only doing lawn mowing. If you're doing lawn mowing every week, then you need to specifically write lawn mowing every 7 days, string trimming, edging, mowing, and, you know, plant bed edging is included. Shrubs, plant bed is not included. If additional service is required, i.e., shrubs or plant bed cleanup, there will be an additional charge. See, you have to specify. You always have to specify. And another thing is, if you do something, let's say, for instance, you go on the first service visit, and your service agreement just state that, and you take it upon yourself, excuse me, to trim and clean out their plant bed with your string trimmer, guess what? It is expected when you come back next time. So be very careful. I know you may say, it's just something I'm throwing in there this time. No, you need to be very careful because it happened to me many a times. I took it upon myself. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and hit the little plant bed right here because it looks like crap. Yeah, she's only paying me for the yard, for the lawn, but let me hit the plant beds real quick. And the next time I went back and didn't do it, she automatically said, hey, I got a call back. You missed you didn't clean up my plant bed. And I go, well, it wasn't in the service agreement. And then she says, well, you did it last time you did it. So I was expecting you to do it. Then it becomes an issue. So be very, very careful with what you're doing as far as things that are not on that service agreement. I basically don't like to call them contracts because everyone don't like the word contract. They prefer, you know, service agreement, right? So make sure it is clear of the expectation, of what you're providing and how much they're going to pay you, right? And what is the payment term? You know, do they pay you right away? Do they pay you within 7 days, 14 days, you know, etc.? You have to be very clear. And if you're sending them an invoice, the invoice need to be stated there and within the service agreement. If this invoice is not paid within 5 days, then there will be a $5 late fee. If this invoice is not paid within an additional 5 days, if it's 10 days overdue, then there's an additional $5 late fee, which makes it $10, and service will stop until the invoice is paid in full. It needs to be written down, guys. Okay, it needs to be written down. And remember, if they're not paying for their invoice, right? Don't service that property. You can't service that property. I know a lot of you guys are going to go out there and say, let me go ahead and hit it one more time. Next thing you know, you're 14 days, you're a whole month behind, or you're 2 weeks behind. Come on, guys. You can't do that. And if the customer, if the customer is a problem customer, then find you another customer. This is not the only customer, guys. This is not. Okay. Another way that you can do it also is by requiring upfront payment. Especially for new customers, guys. New customers, anytime I have a cleanup with a brand spanking new customer, you are going to pay 50% down for me to put you on my books. And once I finish the service, the additional 50% is required. Not within 14 days. Nope. When it's finished, I need my 15%. This way, if they decide not to pay you, you already are paid at least half, or for the materials, right? That's another thing. If I'm doing a job, anything $100 or more for somebody that's new, you're going to give me 50% down, or you're going to pay for the materials. So that's the way I would suggest you doing it, right? You can also offer auto pay options, with your current CRM. Depending if you have one, you can put credit cards on file. And a lot of people say, I only take customers with credit card on file, nobody else. Guys, if I or a customer, I don't want to say I, because I think like the average crook, okay? Because I need to prevent this from happening. I can easily give you a credit card and just cancel my credit card. So the moment you try to debit that credit card, it doesn't work. So don't be under the impression that because you have credit card on file that you can't get got. Okay? Somebody can still not pay you for your services. All right? Make sure that you invoice immediately after the service. If you send them an invoice via, I don't know, Stripe, PayPal, whichever way you get your money, you always invoice immediately after the service. Don't wait a couple of days. And me personally, that monthly billing thing, I don't know why you guys do that. I invoice directly after the service has been done. That's when I send the invoices out. I don't wait until the end of the month, none of that. But, everybody run their business completely different, right? You need to have a clear late payment policy. You need to spell it out on your service agreement, right? i.e., late payments incur a $10 late fee after, I don't know, 7 days or whatever, fits your business. And then on that 7th day, you have to enforce it. I used to have a customer that told me all the time, "Well, I didn't get paid uh, this week. Can you just move my payment date up or whatever the case might be?" I'm like, "No, I can't. My payment doesn't have anything to do with the day you get paid. I understand. Okay, I clearly understand that people live paycheck by paycheck. I understand that. But that is not my issue. I'm sorry. That is not my issue." Now, you may say to yourself, "Well, I can work with customers." Yeah, if you have a long-term customer, somebody has been loyal to you, somebody you've been working for a long time, there's a lot of stuff that you're going to work with that customer, right? But I'm talking about brand spanking new people, people that haven't been with you for a while, people that you just picked up. You have to stop them on their tracks, because what happens is the first time you do something, you let them get away with something, it's going to become a habit. Okay? It's going to become a habit, and guess who's going to be stressing over their money? You. So you need to avoid that, right? So in saying that, you need to screen your customers. I mean, when you pick them up, you can quickly tell who's going to be a red flag. People who haggle a lot, schemes seem they seem sketchy or seem slow to commit, you know, often slow to pay you. You need to trust your gut, guys. Right? When I say guys, I mean male and female, right? Trust your gut. You can tell. My price is my price. When I first started, of course, you know, people haggle with you, and you're so eager to get that job that you don't have a business sense. You're learning, and that's fine. But once you set, your prices, guys, let me tell you, the people that haggle are your worst. They are your biggest pain in the butt. I'm telling you. Your cheapest customers are your worst customers. Been there, done that, and I'm yet to have one prove me wrong. They are your worst customers. So keep that in mind, man. Keep that in mind. Keep records. Take before and after photos. Because you have some customers that, when I first started, customer told me that I didn't service their property. I'm like, hey, listen, I was there. But luckily now you have customers that have that camera, you know? So yeah, make sure that you keep accurate records, especially for the first time customers. That way, if someone tries to dispute, you have proof of what was done, date, time, all of that good stuff. But, always get something in writing, guys. Those people that call you or send you a text and you go to the property and actually do you take credit cards, usually those guys are scam artists, you know? No. If you call me, I want to see your face. I want to see an individual. I'm not going to just go to a property, not seeing anybody there. And if I do go to a property, um, and no one is there, you're going to pay me my fee up front, or I'm not doing the job. And I mean, again, we all run our business our own way, right? Incentivize good payment behavior. You can offer a small discount like 5% if your customers sign up on auto pay or prepay. You know, have them prepay for the season, have them prepay per month. Okay, you want me to start on the first? All right, I'm gonna send you an invoice for if you're doing it every week, 4 services. If you're doing it every 2 weeks, 2 services. I'll send you an invoice. Go ahead and pay my invoice, and they prepay for service. You know, and that comes with reputation, because a lot of times some customers aren't gonna feel too comfortable prepaying. But if your truck is lettered up and you look like a professional outfit, you shouldn't have an issue when it comes to them prepaying, right? And again, this is a quick bonus tip. If you do, most residential people offer seasonal package, a flat monthly payment, for your mowing, and that'll make it easier where customers expect a certain amount per month. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for taking the time to watch my videos. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff. See you on the next one. Pop Smoke. Peace.